Y'all ready for this? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Brandon Orr here, Reclaiming Lives Recovery Cafe, episode 31, go. Today I have a super special friend and guest. I want to just say it. Leaf plow. Plow. He is, and I have Doug over here. Obviously, you guys know Doug. If you guys have seen any of the episodes or anything around my life, you know that Doug's heavily involved. But Leaf is a special guy. He is also the Southern Oregon outreach for Oxford House. He's going to give a little bit about what that means to him. But more than anything, like, the reason I have two people on with me today is because I couldn't think of two better people in my life that's lifted me up, that's helped me get to where I'm at, and by not just motivation and inspiration, but by believing in me and giving me the chances to be able to grow in such a manner to where not only is it like imperative that I help people for my recovery, but that it means so much to me that I'm able to do this because of guys like this that were willing to show me the way when I didn't know how. And so from the bottom of my heart, you guys, thank you. And thank you for coming on with me today. I do appreciate it big time. You guys don't know what you guys mean to me. Let's skip Doug and go right to Leaf.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. What's up, buddy? Thank you for joining us.
How you doing?
You know, I'm doing good. This morning I got a message from Gene.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to put that on live there. Hey, Gene. Saying that he was proud of me. He's been watching what's going on here at the cafe. And, you know, Gene was a major, like, when I first met Gene, I was like, who the hell is this guy? What house does he live in? Because he spoke his mind, and he spoke it with conviction, you know? I mean, I asked him, I said, what house is he in? He goes, he's the outreach, dude. I'm like, what's the outreach, you know? And then Doug explained it a little bit to me, and, like, I really took not just a liking to Gene, but, like, I'm like, that, I want to live like this guy, you know? Like, his morals were right on point. Everything was right on point, you know? He outreached for Southern Oregon, opened up some houses, and when he left, you came to the picture. And we didn't know what a leaf was. We didn't know what a leaf was, you know. But we found out real fast, you know.
We proved out.
Yeah, like, you have a heart for people like nobody's business, and I just, you know, it shows exactly in your character time and time again, and you know, it inspires me to be a little bit better every day. So thank you. How have you been doing during this whole COVID episode?
I mean, it's been an adjustment. You know, I'm not, as you guys know, I'm used to showing up. You know, I'm used to showing up, and today, I mean, I'm still showing up, but it looks a lot different. You know, a lot more phone calls, a lot more, but you know, it's kind of been on a recovery side of things. It's been an opportunity from the man upstairs to really look at things and grow, pull some more layers back, because I had to look at some things that typically I'm so busy I don't have to look at, you know. You know, and it hasn't been that way this last month and a half, and it's been an adjustment. But I mean, you know, in all things, I guess if you're open-minded and you're looking for it, and you're you know, you're not just focusing on the things that are upsetting you or bothering you, there's blessings in every situation, you know. So it's definitely been an adjustment, but it's working.
You know, I can only imagine, like, me I'm wearing my Oxford stuff because my dog here, my homeboy here, but, like, I loved living at Oxford House. Like, the house I had, the pit, the house, what? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
good.
Just letting you know. You know what I'm saying? But the house I had, it's like you have a chance because of the position you hold to leave. You know, you got Roseburg, you got Eugene, you got Medford, you have conventions you have to get to, you have conferences you have to get to. So, like, you're not there all the time. So how's it been with the adjustment with staying back at your house for the last 30, 45 days with all your guys?
Well, at first they were like, oh, cool, we get to have you for a while. Then they're like, oh, God.
Right, the old rule bender. Oh, you ain't better know rules while I'm here, buddy.
Fine, you get a fine.
Yeah.
It's been good though. I mean, so one of the things that's changed is you guys know that we're typically don't hold like recovery meetings and whatnot in our houses, and if we do, we don't. They're not official, you know. But one of the things we've been doing, in addition to Zoom meetings and whatnot, is getting together as a house and throwing together a recovery meeting or two a week. And man, they've been so raw. You know, I mean, you guys know from your experience at Mount Pitt, we there's no holds barred. You know what I mean? It's been beautiful to watch. And at first, everybody was getting kind of, you know, hyper focused on everybody else's behaviors and getting nitpicky and getting upset and whatnot. But I've really watched, and I've experienced it via phone, obviously, with a number of other houses. Really getting to see what Oxford House is about and what recovery is about, and watching these people pull together, lift each other up, support each other. You know, I mean, there's for instance, there's a guy in my house who's going to college right now, and that's kind of super stressful because everything's, you know, from Veronica, everything's online. It's all different. He's high anxiety, and he's one of those guys that once he gets to a certain point, he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna quit." And then he's getting A's and B's, you know, and I'm like, you know, push, man, push.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's been kind of cool to see. You know, I mean, I can't wait to have the interaction that I had before, but the experience that's been happening here has actually been just like what I was talking about earlier. It's been an adjustment, but it's also been a lot of beautiful things I've seen.
Kind of makes you miss your brothers, you know what I'm saying? I can only imagine, like for the guys I had in my alumni house, our alumni house, I'm sorry, it's definitely ours. Like we had a camaraderie like nobody's business. Like, you know, like we stayed involved, we definitely got together, but like I couldn't imagine in a time like this where like things get real for people. People get scared real quick, especially addicts, you know, like they get into the mix, I'm gonna call it, you know what I mean, without talking smack. Like they get into this whole is it a conspiracy, a pandemic and all that, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta calm them down, you know, like how does your house deal with the whole epidemic itself? Like how are they coming together as a whole?
I mean, for the most part, man, we just quit watching the news.
You know, quit watching the news.
You know, yeah.
Perfect.
Do not watch Facebook.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, really, that's kind of what it's been, because there was a lot of that in the beginning, but yeah, I mean, at least in the house that I'm staying in, I mean, that's kind of really what it's just been. We're kind of blessed. A majority of the guys still get up and go to work, you know. But yeah, there's not been a lot of going down the rabbit hole as far as that goes. You know, this too shall pass.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm super glad you came down today. You got any questions for him? Because I can allow you to get in on this, so you're not just you're looking pretty waving that Star Spangled mullet.
No, I'm great. I just love watching this dude talk.
Right. Stop it. I have so we've been blessed. Doug and I have been blessed to be able to spend quite a bit of time with Leaf, and there was a time at the summit when you spoke. When you speak, like people listen to what you have to say. I don't know what it is about you. Like I couldn't imagine you in your addiction, because in your recovery, it's just you are just so colorful and you're just so real and you're just so you, full of life and heart and respect and love, and like that's how you are, you know, and that's how you build other people up. And you have such a way about it that like they have to feel you or they're not living a program. And I'll say it for free. Like if you're living a solid program, like you'll hear Leaf speak, you know, you put yourself out there, you know, at the World Convention. Remember that guy that had that devil costume on?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I was getting kind of weird about it, and you said to me, you said, listen, we can't help what other people do. And like for me in my recovery, I just want to fix everybody and I want to fix everything, and I feel like I'm like a big toolbox that can fix everything. And you said those little words, and I looked up and I thought long and hard about that. Like, damn it, he's right again. Son, he's right again.
We were gonna jump him.
We were gonna jump him, dude. We were gonna jump him, dude. Like we were like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like we have the OG Paul Malloy in the house. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gonna do that. But like, and then it's like, and then when I watched other people totally just like let him be himself. You know what I mean? Like, who are we from Oregon when you got every single state there that has Oxford House, that is? You know, just letting this guy be who he is. I learned right then and there, like, that's how I stay in my own lane, dude. That's how I stay in my own lane. You know? So, like, those words stuck with me pretty good. What's your favorite memory of Leaf?
When I first met him.
Go on, tell us about it.
We just talked about this. He came down, and he wasn't our state outreach worker yet, but he came down, and we had a huge chapter meeting over at the Siskiyou House. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm kind of boisterous and I like to talk.
Well, and you live for Oxford.
And I live for Oxford, still. And one of the key things that Lee said is, I don't know about this guy. I don't like this guy. But after careful consideration on his part, we're really good friends. Yeah. Like we turned a corner, and we're like-minded. We love helping people, and we both have great hearts. And I love that about you, dude. Absolutely love that about you. Glad you can finally come around and be my friend.
Right. No, because Leaf was, you didn't know what to expect out of Medford, you know, and little did you know, like, we really wanted to go hard. We just weren't sure exactly how to do it, right? Is that a good way to put it?
It's a good analogy.
You know, like, we definitely did all of the things, but we weren't sure how to wrap them all up in the right way, you know? Like, we didn't, like, he was HSC forever. We didn't even know really what that looked like, you know?
Not until we went to Roseburg.
Until we went to Roseburg to that, and then, you know...
or Eugene.
It was Eugene, yeah. And then, you know, Laura helped Veronica and Doug, and I think Sean was there, wasn't he? And Sean Regular, my boy, you know, went up there and came back, and HSC is now a thing here. It's the Housing Services Committee for Oxford, who helps all the things with the houses around, for those who don't know. And now HSC is a real thing. So it's like, you know, Chapter 13, you guys donated to us. You guys stood behind us and believed in us. And it's like, that right there was like, whoa, these guys don't even know who we really are, and they want to help us because they see our fight.
And they're true hope dealers.
No, they are.
True hope dealers.
Yeah, like, I don't know how you... I know this goes out there quite a ways away when people watch these, but, like, when it comes to Oxford House, Chapter 13 puts it down. You guys get busy.
Say that there.
Yeah, Eugene, they get busy. And, you know, that was so, like, every time we went to a convention or anywhere, you know, Chapter 13 came strong. Like, you guys had, like, a whole plane of people one time. Like, look, he's just like, To me, it's like, no, you literally had, like, a whole plane. It's like, yeah, it's a Tuesday, dude, no big deal. That's what we're supposed to do. Duh. I'm like, we could barely gather up 8 people. You know what I mean? And you guys had, like, a whole plane, dude. We did hella car washes. You guys know, so it's like, that was, like, so moving to me. Like, that's one of my favorite parts about you guys up there in general is, like, you guys don't sleep when it comes to recovery. You guys have such a strong recovery up there. And
your passion to do better and to help other people is beyond measure.
Yeah,
It's
man.
amazing.
Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the organization I work for. I love Oxford House. I'm super passionate about it. But don't sell yourself short here, because, I mean, the reason that those areas are strong and the reason that you guys have came as far as you have since I got involved in your life, so you might get me in tears, is recovery, bro. You know what I mean? It's that whole, when I was sitting here talking with you guys yesterday, it's, you know, I mean, first and foremost, I dove into bettering myself, and as part of that, I dove into service for Oxford House because I'm passionate about it. And like with Serenity Lane, I give back to Serenity Lane as much as I can because they helped save my life. But it was the recovery, and I mean, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but my higher power is God.
Amen.
And my recovery led me to Him, you know, and now I just walk the path He puts in front of me. And like what you were talking about earlier, people listening and all, I mean, it's hard for me to take compliments, man. I mean, it still is, but that's not me. You know, I mean, that's not, I mean, you know my bottom. I mean, I was a tweaker in a tent, man. You know, I mean, things were bad. I mean, I abandoned my girls. You know, I gave it all up, you know, I mean, and I know you guys feel that, but that's Oxford House is a super great foundation for somebody to find and practice their recovery program, and whatever that looks like. You
Right.
know? But that's that's the magic. You know, I mean,
Is that what drives you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what does that feel like? Like, so when you had a chance, I think you were chair right before you were outreach, weren't you, or co-chair?
I've just finished my term as chair for 13, and then I took on the Southern Oregon Housing Services chair for the state of Oregon, and I held that for like a month, and then they hired me.
So what was that feeling like when you, like, were you scared? Were you anxious? Were you just ready to get on that, you know, get up and swing the bat? Like when they said, hey, we have an outreach position open, leave.
I was nervous. I prayed about it. You know, I went home and I prayed about it. And it was it was given to me and then taken away due to some circumstances, and then they brought it back to the table because, like you were talking about Gene earlier, he advocated for me, you know. But yeah, I mean, I had to really think about it because I've always worked construction. I had a good paying job. They were offering me a little less money, but it's my passion, you know what I mean. And so I knew spiritually that it was. I was scared. I didn't know, you know what I mean? And I knew that a big portion of my job was going to be similar to what I'd already been doing, but I'd only been doing it in Eugene.
And as a mentorship.
Yeah. You know, I mean, in addition to working with investors and existing landlords and trying to find and open new houses, but I was nervous. You know, I mean, I was nervous, but you know, when God puts something in your path,
oh man,
you know what I mean? It's like you, it felt right, you know. And then Gene said, you know, ultimately I'd like to spend a couple months with you, you know, and train you to show you the ropes, this and that. He's like, but I got to go to California. Good luck.
God, dude. So, you know, like, there's a lot of Gene McVeighs out there, you know, like there really is. Like, there's only one Gene McVeigh, but there's a lot of really solid outreach out there that like definitely put Oxford on the map. Like, so for people that don't know, what does the scope of work for Oxford Outreach look like? Oh man.
I mean, it's you know, in my opinion, it's you know, showing up, you know, just being there for support. You know, I mean, on chapter levels, even on house levels in a lot of situations. But I mean, actually, you know, I mean, I want to say that on that side of things, it's more of lifting up. You know, I mean, and if I you know, just by listening to what you guys said, and I do the best to stay, you know, I mean, you can relate with this well. I mean, I do the best I can to keep ego out of things. You know what I mean, and work from humility. But like listening to what you guys said, I think that, you know, in addition to opening new houses, working with new investors, things like that, it's setting an example. You know, I mean, you got to put out a lot of fires, but I mean, the best way to do that, I think, is to let the chapters do it, be in the background. You know what I mean? Speak up if you need to, but give people that experience and growth. Right. You know, when you're opening a new house, like for instance, you guys with Crestbrook. You know what I mean? You get to do all the things. You know what I mean? And I'm there if you know, I'm there if anybody needs me. But I mean, you get to have that experience of opening it up, holding the interviews, getting the men in there, you know, showing them a new way. You know, there's a lot of people who are in early recovery, especially even people who have been in recovery for a while. They don't have that self-worth. They don't have that I can do this. You know what I mean? And Oxford House provides a lot of opportunities for people to build some of that, because you know, you get to show up. You get to show up and you get to you know, support people rather than beat them down, or you know. So,
like, I'm sitting here picturing. First off, thank you. You're absolutely right. So I'm sitting here thinking from a viewer's point of view, right? Like I'm on the other side of the video right now, looking in here, and I'm thinking, okay, so they're talking a lot, and there's a lot of people that actually don't know what an Oxford House is.
Yeah.
Like, which is kind of crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think the world should know what an Oxford House is. Like, because, well, it gave. Besides my higher power, but like Oxford House was able to get me to the seat where I'm at right here. So, with that being said, between you and Doug, I'm gonna let you guys handle this.
Yeah, do it.
What is Oxford House? What is chapter? What is state? What the heck is an Oxford House?
So I'll start. Oxford House first, in my heart, is hope. Because I know when I got out of jail, not having anywhere to go, not having family because I had burnt every single bridge that I had in my addiction. First and foremost, it's recovery housing. But for me, Oxford House is hope. Because when I got out, being voted into a new house, and not only myself, but being given the opportunity to bring my son with me, who was 14 years old, was something I didn't expect. It's something that I still am immensely grateful for this day, to help me rebuild that relationship with my son, learn how to live again, learn how to cook for my son again, as well as 9 other dudes.
You were a good kid.
I was a great cook.
You still are.
But it's a democratically ran system. So, you get into a house and everything in the house is democratically ran. It goes by a vote. It's an amazing way to learn how to live again.
Each house is autonomous.
Each house is autonomous.
So, if I was to get into an Oxford House right now and I was to get voted in, what would I need, and what's provided for me?
80% of the vote.
Okay.
80% of the vote.
So, as in, if I.
If there's 10 people in the house, 8 people need you to say yes. Next. Don't want to leave the silent.
Well, no, I like what you said too. It's not only that though. It's a group of men or women scared to death, trying to figure out how to live, supporting each other. If you bring recovery into the mix, quickly it becomes a family. Right. Quickly it becomes a family because there's that aspect of caring, getting out of yourself, noticing when someone's struggling and offering a hand. They're self-supporting, they're democratically ran. There's no house manager telling you what to do. So that's part of the magic of the thing is these you get together, you have a weekly house meeting, and you get to make a decision as a group. And then to the part of the question you asked earlier, so for instance here in Medford, there's 13 houses. So once a month, the president from each house gets together and meets up with a committee that's the chapter committee. And they just they talk about any problems that are going on in the whole area. They come up with solutions on how to fix that. The chapter officers there will go over to these houses and offer support. If there's a situation where the house can't seem to figure out how to maneuver it by themselves.
And then new residents better show up so you can get off blackout.
There you go. And then above that, there's the state. There's the state.
I apologize. Yeah. So what is a chapter officer? I don't understand.
You don't understand?
What's a chapter officer?
So it's they're voted in. They're on a volunteer basis. They're voted into a position. Like there's a secretary. There's a just like on the house level. There's a secretary.
Like a board.
A treasurer. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And they hold a term of a year. They're it's on a volunteer basis.
Unless you're chair or co-chair, it's 18 months, right?
Or HSC.
No, continue, my friend.
But yeah, and it's a beautiful system. And then above that level, there's the state level, which looks the same. It's just all the chapter chairs from all over Oregon get together and meet every other month, and they kind of do the same thing on a statewide level. They talk about what's going on in different areas,
finances.
And a lot of times, God forbid, let's just say like a house caught on fire or something. The whole state will get together and figure out a solution and what that looks like and funnel funds if they need to, or have people just show up to give extra hands. So they kind of
umbrella the little chapters.
Absolutely.
And then there's a world too?
Yeah, there's a world council as well.
Is John Ware still world?
I believe so. Okay. Yeah.
John, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. And they get together and they talk about bylaws and procedures and things that just kind of blanket the whole organization as a whole.
To keep safe.
So the first one you talked about, Paul Malloy, love that guy. The first one was
grumpy, but awesome.
The first one got started, and I know you guys know the story, but it was a regular recovery house with a house manager. all the things, and then the guy that was running the operation decided he didn't want to do a recovery house anymore, and so the inmates decided to run the asylum. I mean, they got together and said, we're not going to give up on each other. We're going to do this, and they came up with the Democratic Forum, had house meetings, and then slowly but surely, they started in D.C. and now we're in 48 states. There's 203, I want to say, right now in Oregon alone.
So, sorry you guys, I had to grab my Mango Loco. So, what are the requirements in order to get into Oxford? Anybody?
You have to identify as an alcoholic or an addict.
Okay.
And you have to be clean.
Yeah.
Or sober. Yeah. Or sober.
What can take you away from holding that
Relax.
interview? Like what can, like?
Oh, we don't, with Oxford House, we don't accept anybody who's been an arsonist or a sex offender.
Okay. And that's because the DHS holds the ORS, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. So to anybody, I knew all these, you guys. I just felt like it'd be a really good thing to interview, like if you guys were, you know what I mean? I felt good about it. Because Doug's over here, he's like, you know all these, you POS. But no, those are real important things. Like, so like we could always use more Oxford houses. If it's something that you guys are interested in, maybe if you have a house that you're looking to either sell or you're looking to figure out what to do with it, call this man. You can get a hold of me here, 890-0590, and I can call Leaf and give you guys all the information you need. You guys can get up. Let's build some houses. We need them in Grants Pass right now, bad. So, enough about Oxford. Let's talk about Leaf.
Okay.
Did you really put your pit vipers on?
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Man, he knows what time it is.
He does.
Man, you're good, bro. Yeah. So, Leaf. Man of integrity, man of God, man of recovery. What are some of the successes? What are some of the things you hold deep? What are the things you are proud of most about your recovery?
I think that the thing, honestly, the thing that I'm probably proud of most, which was, scared me to death in the beginning is the opportunity to give a hand back, and be able to offer to other people what was freely given to me. That's probably the one thing I'm most proud of. In the beginning, and I still to this day, I can't lie. It is for me. But the one thing I hold in the back of my head is because my biggest pain, you guys know from hearing my story, was the damage that was done between me and my girls.
Right. Yeah.
And today I strive to. If it's true that your daughters are going to look for a guy like you, when they get to an age to look for a man. I want to give that guy some big shoes to fill, I found that, like the path we were talking earlier, when he lays something in front of me, if I just keep putting one foot forward, and doing the next right thing, and I like what you said yesterday when we were talking, it's the integrity piece too. It's making the right choices and doing the right thing even when no one's looking, I believe that I'm doing that. I believe that, if I am setting an example for that reason, I believe that, I could go on, and be, it puts me in a position where, and I know you guys can relate with this too, where I used to look in the mirror, didn't even want to look myself in the eyes. And today, I'm proud of the things that I've done. I'm proud of the guy that I am. I'm honored to have people like you guys in my lives. Watching what's happening, and I wanted to kind of mention something about this too. And I'm not trying to make this about you, but I'm going to talk about you for a second. Watching these when they came on and getting sucked in and seeing what you're doing, man. and knowing your story, because I mean, if we're going to talk, you know, I mean, I know we're getting away from Oxford House, but I mean, I know
that's good.
I know for sure that you know, you were sleeping on a floor, you know what I mean, and watching you do the things you've done, and Doug, you know, I mean, you know, I mean, we were a mess, man, you know, and we broke a lot of things, you know, and so I mean, what I'm most proud of today is getting to be part of a solution rather than still being part of the problem, you know. Yeah.
Gosh, I freaking love you.
Well said, sir.
You know, I just it's pretty cool that you came into our life. It's always a pleasure, like, having you around. You know, like our steak eating competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like a $1.65, dude, and I'll kill off a steak with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have some pretty fun moments with you, you know, and they're clean and sober moments, you know. Like when you thought we were crazy when Chapter 2 showed up first at the summit, we all got down to our skivvies and ran in the ocean in that cold water, you know, like, you know, we get there, you know what I mean? Like, and you were like, we're like, come on, Leaf. You're like, no.
First on karaoke.
Yeah, first on karaoke, you know, like I have good moments with you, Leaf, and you are my friend, man, and I love you to death, and I really appreciate the things that you brought to the table today. For somebody out there who's unsure, for somebody out there who may not know how, or really has a desire, or is in that pre-contemplation contemplation stage of change, do you have any words of wisdom, suggestion, anything for them out there? And if so, talk to them, not me.
You know, okay. You guys have heard me say this a number of times. You know, the comfort zone's a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. You know, so take that first step. You know, get yourself in a situation where, whether that looks like an AA meeting, an NA meeting, whether you do refuge recovery, whether you're involved in Recovery Cafe, start building your support group. Start getting close with some men that might have what you want. You know, people who, when they notice that you're struggling, they're going to reach out and give you a hand. Not that, I mean, I know we're used to, we get so comfortable in chaos that we get used to these people that are just creating wreckage and that just take. And we're one of those people, you know, but if you can get yourself, if you could take the step out of that, and just start, I mean, baby steps even, just heading in that direction, surrounding yourself with a little bit of different crowd. And all of a sudden, I mean, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, my sponsor told me early on, he's like, I'm going to put a rock right here. I'm going to tell you to step on it. He's like, it's not going to make any sense. He said, I'm going to put another one here, and I'm just going to have you keep going, you know, and you're just going to keep going. And he said, eventually you're going to turn around and everything's going to be different. And I can't tell you how different things are, you know, I mean, but it all starts with, you know, I remember, so I mean, here's from my experience. I went into Serenity Lane. I'm hard-headed. I was raised around bikers. I'm having a one-on-one with my counselor in his office. And I'm a big dude who, if I can't manipulate you when I'm in that mind frame, I'll puff my chest up and I'll try to intimidate you. And I'm sitting there, and my counselor's only like 5'5", and he basically told me, you might as well walk out that gate and go get a bag of dope, because I was blaming everything on my ex-wife. You don't know the life I lived. You don't know the things. If you knew you know, all the reasons why I made the choices I made, and you don't get it because I'm different. And he said that to me, and I lost my temper, and I stood up, and I had my finger over his desk, and I was spitting in his face, and I was cussing. And he leaned back, he crossed his arms, and he's like, all I heard you say is you love me. You know, and it was God, because something happened there, and I just sat down. I was almost in tears, and I was like, what do I got to do? You know, but I mean, it's that willingness, it's that willingness, wow. It's that effort, it's that first step in the right direction. And if you can make another step after that and another step after that, all of a sudden there's momentum. And then like my sponsor said, eventually you're going to turn around, and everything's going to be different. And all of a sudden your struggles go from, not wanting to get high that day, not wanting to go out and trade all your stuff, not wanting to go out and feed from people so you can get your fix, to all of a sudden, you know, that part's gone, and now I'm just focusing on my character defects. And I mean, growth is a beautiful thing, but I mean, you got to push yourself every day. You got to, even if it starts small, just pick one thing and do it different today, and then it can turn into a habit. And then we don't have to keep causing wreckage. We don't have to keep being the people that we used to be.
Do you see why I wanted him in here today? That was a mic drop, bro. I love you, you know, and I want to take you back on that. Like, he's absolutely right. Nothing good grows in your comfort zone. You know, you stay comfortable in the shade, but nothing grows there. Get out in the sun. Get uncomfortable. Grow. You know, it's a big part of recovery. And if I didn't have guys like this that were in my life today, yeah, love you guys. So with that being said, you know where to find us. You got anything for him? Anything left?
Just love you, dude.
I love you too, man.
You're amazing. I love you.
He ain't too bad, is he?
He's not. He's pretty amazing.
Don't you ever puff up your chest and point at me.
Get one of these dudes on your squad.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, thank you for tuning in today. Lee, thanks for joining us. You know, I'm trying to get you on for a minute now, but it's hard to get you down from Eugene, and I'm glad you decided to take the trip. You're one of my near and dear and good friends, and I just love the heck out of you. You guys, if you guys need any help, any support, come see us, Recovery Cafe, Reclaiming Lives. We're here Monday through Friday. Come check us out on the Zoom meeting. We're going to have the Zoom link up on our Facebook page. The cafe on Zoom, dude. Believe it or not, we did it last Monday and at 6. Just got yelled at. Monday at 6. She's better than I am at that. Monday at 6. Be there. Last week we held it, and it was moving. It was really awesome. You know, we're starting to miss connection, but you know, God willing, we're gonna be back in no time, and we're gonna come back harder than ever, and it's gonna be just amazing. And I love you guys so much. So with that being said, you see that little finish button right down there?
I sure do.
All right, you guys. God bless. Love ya. Mount Pitt.